Over the Edge. The Big Sur Coast Highway has been a legendary attraction in California for nearly 70 years. The highway affords a one-of-a-kind view along a very dramatic section of the California coastline. With pounding surf, rocky cliffs, and a winding road, the trip along the highway is pleasant, but it can also be dangerous. In July 2006, while on vacation in California, Alberta native Corey Woods saw firsthand how treacherous the drive can be. One evening, he and his girlfriend Heather Kerwin drove along the Big Sur Coast Highway. At about 7:30 p.m., they noticed a young man on the side of the road. He was covered in blood, and they stopped to help. The injured teenager and 4 other boys had driven off the twisting highway and plunged 130 meters down a steep cliff into the rocks and waves below. Corey could see a truck upside down in the ocean and a second teenager clinging to the side of the cliff, a quarter of the way down. Without hesitation, Corey climbed down the cliff to help the other passenger. Reaching the terrified and injured young man, Corey managed to pull him to the roadside. Corey set off down the cliff again and reached another passenger whose arm had nearly been severed. He was perched precariously on a stone shelf. Worried that the injured young man might fall down into the rocks, Corey told him to stay put and wait for help. Then he continued down to the bottom of the cliff. Heather remained at the top, helping the 2 injured passengers. "My girlfriend was great," Corey said. "She had no first aid experience. However, she looked after the boys, calming them down and treating them for shock." When Corey finally reached the bottom, he saw a Ford F-350 truck lying upside down. It was partially submerged in the waves. He quickly searched the area around the truck and found a person pinned under the passenger side door. Unfortunately, he had no vital signs, and there was nothing Corey could do to help him. Corey called inside the truck and heard a faint response. It was the driver, who was trapped inside the truck's flattened cab. "I began to speak with the boy inside, reassuring him that help was coming," Corey said. Using rocks and sticks and anything he could get his hands on, Corey worked frantically at trying to free the boy. "I tried everything I could to gain entry into that truck," he said. "At the same time, I was being hit by large waves and pulling out into the Pacific Ocean by the undertow." This further concerned Corey when he saw that the truck was shifting in the water and could have pinned him as well. Rescue crews arrived about 45 minutes later, along with a helicopter. 2 volunteer firefighters climbed down the cliff, bringing with them a sledgehammer and a crowbar. For the next few hours, the 3 rescuers tried unsuccessfully to release the boy from the crushed cab of the truck. The sun went down and darkness set in. The only illumination came from the helicopter searchlight. The waves were getting rougher, and worst of all, the tide was rising. Around 11 p.m., the tide overtook the cab of the truck, and Corey realized that they would not be able to save the trapped boy. He spoke with the boy and helped prepare him for what was about to happen. "I did know that he was going to die, and we did acknowledge that together," Corey said. "I couldn't do anything to save this boy, so I helped him die a little easier." He later shared the boy's last words with his family. He returned to the top of the cliff about 3.5 hours after the ordeal began. Corey's actions that tragic day were recognized and appreciated by many. He received a Citizen Recognition Award from the City of Calgary and the Calgary EMS Department, and in 2008, Corey received the Governor General of Canada's Medal of Bravery. Corey has mixed feelings about the awards. "I feel bad that I am getting recognized when some fine young men died," he said. Sometimes fireworks remind Corey of that terrible day at the bottom of the cliff. They sound like the waves crashing against the rocks, and it still makes him feel anxious. "I felt very alone and helpless. Nothing will ever erase those feelings," he said. Corey attended a memorial service for the 2 young men who died and noted that their family members had been very kind to him. "I value that more than the awards," he said.